What is going on, guys? So welcome back to the video. So in this video we are going to be talking about something very important and I think something which is much needed right now. So it is basically how do you start, grow and market your online coaching business. So again, a little bit about myself. So I've been doing online coaching for the past 6 years now, even before online coaching was actually a thing. So me and a couple of friends of mine, we started online coaching a long time back, and I've been doing it since then, and I've been making a living out of it. So another thing about me is I've owned my own gym, and I am a coach. I do a lot of strength and conditioning stuff. I work with a lot of athletes, and I work with a lot of Gen Pop clients. So that is what I do, and I do train people in person. So I'm not a 100% online coach, but I also do online coaching for the most part, and I've been doing it for a long time. And my sources of getting clients were YouTube, and from YouTube it has now moved on to YouTube and Instagram. So this is where I mainly get my clients from. So again, guys, so right now with this whole lockdown and this whole corona thing and all that stuff, online coaching is again, people are looking into online coaching a lot just because they actually can't go out of the houses, they can't go to the gym. So virtual training is becoming more of a thing right now. When I say virtual training, it means being on live phone calls, and then teaching your clients, coaching your clients through the process. But when we say online coaching is more of a generic term. So what I refer to as online coaching is, it's a model that is sustainable throughout, not just during this lockdown. It basically means that you are giving them a program, you're giving them a plan, you're giving them a nutrition plan, and you are there to make sure they are doing it, and you're there to make sure they are following through with their protocols. At the same time, you are getting feedback and you are improving your coaching processes and making sure your clients stick to you, right? So again, I get a lot of DMs from people asking how to get more clients, how to get more online coaching clients, and these are people who already have a lot of following, right? So one thing I've noticed is, just because you have a lot of following does not mean you get a lot of coaching, right? Just because you have a lot of following does not mean it translates into a lot of clients, and most of the times this is not the case. There are a lot of coaches, including myself. I don't have a large following. I have a very narrowed down niche following, and they actually do translate a lot into clients, which means I do make my income, right? But at the same time, I don't target a lot of large audience. I don't make posts that targets a lot of people. I don't make posts that brings me a lot of followers. But what I do make is, I make posts that makes people trust them, that gives them knowledge, that gives them value for the time that they've invested in watching that video or watching that post or reading that post, and thus this in turn gets more converts into potential online coaching clients. So one thing that I've noticed is people relating following and online coaching, right? So people think that they need to make posts that goes viral, they need to make posts that gets a lot of likes, and this is what is going to get them online coaching. But nothing can be farther from the truth. So for example, think about this, right? So people think that they have to make posts that get a lot of views, and these kind of posts generally, like you being shirtless, or you being portraying the image of a fitness model, or you just putting some random posts and getting writing captions that make no sense, right? When you start making posts like this, yes, they do get a lot of notice, yes, they do get like a lot of feedback, they do get a lot of comments, but these are not comments and feedback from people who are going to be a potential clients, right? So you need to really portray what you want to be as a coach. You need to really portray what your niche is, right? So think about this. If you make a post talking in depth about fitness or in depth about some training protocol or some workout, and this is like a very niche down, very detailed video of 1 minute, right? This is not a video that most people are going to watch, but this is definitely a video that people who are really interested in fitness are going to watch. And if people watch this 1 minute of detailed content, there are more chances of you getting converts into online coaching clients from these people, as opposed to 1 million people liking some shirtless picture of yours. Think about it. It does make sense, right? So when you are putting content out, you need to put content out that is niche down, that translates to what you are, and that translates to what you want to give people, and that translates to what you want to help people achieve. So the next time you want to, portray yourself as an online coach, try to put more content that reflects towards it, as opposed to putting content like, shirtless pictures, or just like, pictures of you flexing or modeling without any actual meaningful content in there, right? So next thing we're going to talk about is how do you find your niche. Okay, so there are so many fitness coaches out there that you really have to differentiate yourself, and that's the only way you're going to be more appealing to your set of audience. That is the only way that you're going to build the relatability with your clients, and through that relatability is where you gain the trust, and that trust converts into a sale, or you getting those clients on board. So how do you find your niche? So for me, like I was a skinny kid when I started out, and then I built a lot of muscle, and bodybuilding was my thing. So I did a lot of bodybuilding shows, and then I do still coach a lot of people into bodybuilding, right? So for me, physique transformation has been my niche. So that's what I've been doing. So again, this is something that a lot of people do, but what I do also is all my nutrition protocols is not very set. So I help people fit things into their macros. So I don't ask them to do a very particular strict kind of a diet. As I kind of like figure them. Help them figure what they have to eat on their own, right? So if they want to eat ice creams, I help them fit those ice creams into their macro. So that's how I build my nutritional plan. So in my opinion, my niche should be something like, hey, I help you achieve fitness goals, but at the same time, I also don't ask you to be very strict with the diet. So this is kind of what I target, right? And also, like, when I do personal training, what I target there is, yes, physique transformation is bodybuilding prep, but also I do a lot of strength and conditioning stuff. So I train a lot of athletes, I train a lot of state level athletes. But again, this is not something that I put on my online coaching platform, because, again, there are many good strength and conditioning online coaches out there, and I really don't want to step into that market, right? So what I'm very confident about is physique transformation and giving like really easy nutritional protocols to follow. So this is the kind of content that I am going to put in here also. So you need to portray what you are, right? So my content is mainly going to be like, hey, I'm going to, how do you make this super easy, simple recipe? So you need to give takeaway points where your clients can actually see your post and take value from it, as opposed to zero value, right? So that's something I'm noticing these days. Like people, like, I'm not like hating on people, but if you want to be a fitness model, if you want to get brands to notice you, that's a different thing. But if you want to be a coach, you need to give value to your clients, you need to give value to people. And even if they are not your potential clients, you need to give value so that post can be shared in multiple places, which may reach out to more potential clients. So again, guys, make sure you always put content that actually has some takeaway points in there. Maybe an exercise, maybe a different exercise variation, maybe an exercise variation where it is more joint friendly, where it is more effective, and completely break this down, right? So the next thing what we want to get into is customer satisfaction, right? So it's not just about getting clients on board, it's about how you maintain them, and what kind of strategies you use to coach, because there is competition right now. So you need to make sure that you're always on top of your game, and you need to make sure, like, writing a plan on Word and giving it to them, or writing a plan on WhatsApp isn't going to fly anymore. So you actually need to find out ways, and there are many platforms for this, where you can actually engage clients more. Like one thing that I generally do is I really give clients unlimited access to me. So I give them my WhatsApp number so they can text me whenever they want, and I'm always there 24 hours with them. And I use like Excel sheets or Google Drives, where me and my clients are on the same Excel sheet, and that's where I that's where I change their plans and give it to them, right? So that's how we stay on track, and I make sure I collect what loads that they use for different exercises, and I kind of make it into a graph. And by the end of the month, I give them like, hey, this is how your progress has been this month, and this is where we lacked, and this is what we need to work on next month. So there are many apps these days. Like there's one app from Precision Nutrition called ProCoach. I think there's something called as True Coach. There are many apps that help you to do this, where you and your client can communicate easily, where you can send plans in a much easier way, where there are much easier ways for clients to understand how to do an exercise. So there are many apps these days. Explore into that realm and find out what is the best suitable way for you to create maximum engagement with your clients, so that you not only get them on board, but also keep them satisfied with the workout program, get enough feedback from the program, and also if the work is good, then again going to come back and they're going to refer more people out. So this is another way for you to actually market and actually sustain clients. And when it comes to marketing, again, like there are many ways to market, but one thing that I've actually found to work really well is by giving free content out. So you need to put out a lot of ebooks, a lot of free content that even so they need to get a taste of you, right? So only when they get a taste of you, they can actually invest money in it, because it is virtual, it is online. They're not going to ever see you, most probably. So for them to actually gain trust in you, you have to give them a taste of what it is to be coaching alongside you. So it can be something like conducting challenges on Instagram. It can be something like giving free ebooks out, just like a 2-week ebook, just like a 2-week plan. I wouldn't say actually give a free trial for coaching, because that would kind of be like underselling your product, and it's a lot of time and energy from your side. But it has to be minimal time and energy from your side and maximum return for investment, right? So it has something like ebooks. So ebooks are a really good platform that I'm actually getting into right now, because I have a following that are a little bit more experienced in fitness. They may not exactly want to take my online coaching, but they may want something from me. So in that case, investing in online coaching may be a little bit more, so they would buy ebooks from me. So I'm planning to release a lot of ebooks right now, 12-week trainers, 16-week coaching protocols, 1-week plans for like serious bodybuilding competitors, for like people who have been doing it for a long time. So they don't have to exactly invest in personal training as such, but they are going to give me some amount of money for some amount of value. And this is something that you guys can explore also. It's not always about coaching. It's about coaching and maybe a little bit more selling more products and getting more income from there. Also, the other thing that you guys can do is use Instagram marketing, Facebook marketing for your benefits. Again, when you want to market, you're not marketing for a larger audience. So you really need to find out how to dial down your marketing strategies. So maybe use read up more on Instagram marketing, because you don't want to widen your broadband when you're marketing, because there's no point then. You're just like diluting all your resources. You have to like really market to a very niche crowd. So I really don't know if paid marketing is going to work a lot for online coaching and online coaching platforms, especially if you are charging a much higher level, and especially if you're in a very niche down place. So the next thing I want to talk about is pricing. So you want your pricing to be in a place where it's affordable, but at the same time it's not too affordable or it's too costly, right? So one thing that I've noticed from my experience is when I keep my pricing too low, you start working with a lot of people who are not very serious with fitness. That's the majority of the people who come under that category. Is like they want to try it out, they want to give a couple of bucks and see how it works. And these are not people very serious, right? So and they have very unrealistic expectations. So when you get in touch with these people who have very unrealistic expectations, and you are someone who's like by the books, you want to like do it the right way, and things it becomes very hard for you, because you are not going to get the right amount of feedback, and also you're going to get a lot of negative reviews, because you want to do things right and slow, which is the way it has to be done. And then it is just like it's bad referrals for you, right? So you want to keep your pricing at a place where people who are only interested and really interested in fitness are going to come into you, and you also get enough money for the effort you're putting in. Because sometimes what happens is like you want to grow your business, so you kind of like really price things really cheap, and then what happens, you understand that the amount of effort you're putting in is much higher, and you are now going to give your 100% itself, and that is really going to reflect into your business. So always it's okay if your business progresses slowly, but keep in mind that you are putting your time and effort, so price things accordingly. So these are the things that I really want to talk about online coaching. If you guys do have any more doubts and stuff, make sure you guys follow my Facebook group down in the description. So I have like a very close group where it's very cheap to join. It's mainly for other coaches, and it's mainly for people who are super interested in fitness. So where I put out exclusive content about anatomy, about like exercise physiology, about nutrition. I get a lot of guests to talk, people who are business owners, people who are like successful online coaches, people who are successful strength and conditioning coaches. They come in and they talk. We have live sessions. So make sure you guys like follow the group below, join the group. I'll also link my website in the description. Go check it out. Maybe some training programs or plans may interest you. And you guys can also enroll for the group or the membership site from the website, right? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.